company that required security security provision requesting for the executives from a Corporation America Airports Authority, which is called CAAP, and a company called Nexus Logic. They wanted to come to Jomo Kenyatta Airport on the Wednesday, 10th of July 2024. Then they wanted to come to the Mombasa International Airport, and they were going to Kisumu and Eldoret. And this letter is here. It's received by your office, and I have that. And I would also like to table you the letter from ADANI, which is written on the 31st of March 2024. So I would like to table, Chair.
Clerk. The letters, could I just confirm, Chair, the letters were addressed to who?
The first letter is addressed to Hon, the Principal Secretary, Minister of Transport, Infrastructure, Transcom House, Ngong Road. That's the first one from GMR. The second letter is addressed to the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Airports Authority, and they even say it was hand-delivered. The second letter was actually to the Managing Director, Kenya Airports Authority in Nairobi, Kenya, and all these documents were received
so can I
and
just
stamped
respond?
by your office.
So can I just respond, Chair? First, we have been talking about...
Chair, I have not finished through you before he responds. Please let me interrogate the matter.
I'm responding to your earlier question. I said...
No, let me just finish this.
But we would still want to see your document.
Here you go.
Yes.
Chair, on those documents, you know, when you table a document, it's my right to respond to those documents. So before you put it, can I... respond?
You look at them, what are you answering? You've not even seen them.
I already read, that's why I've asked you.
No, I haven't read the details.
I have asked
yes.
you, who are they addressed to? Chairman, can I go ahead and
say, respond?
Chair, we have been talking about the law here. PIP process is a process. You address the proposal to the authority. If you write to President Ruto, that cannot be a PIP proposal. It cannot go anywhere. So the first letter was addressed...
Chair, can I respond?
The first letter, I'm just giving...
CS, he's wasting our time.
Let him finish.
You are equally also maybe wasting my time.
It's nothing we are discussing, John.
Please, let's respect each other.
Allow the CS to
If you ask
finish.
me a question, I've come here, this is a matter of national importance, for heaven's sake. Let us be
the reason why I am reacting to you the way I am is because you've not even seen the letter.
I have not come here.
And you're busy responding. Stop gatekeeping.
I've come here.
These things you can't gatekeep anymore.
Stop
gatekeeping.
And please,
we must deal with this issue nationally. It's a national important issue.
Supply information. Wait for the information. If you don't need it, Kenyans need it.
Proceed.
Order, Senator Onyonka.
Kenyans need the information. And I'm giving to you.
Chair, Honorable CS, now you are heckling. You are out of order.
You are equally heckling me.
This is the tradition of ODM to heckle.
You are out of order.
Chair, you cannot allow monopoly of members to only ask questions. Can we also ask?
No, this is on a point of order. This is on a point of order, Honorable.
Senator Sifuna.
Yes. Honorable Chair, the CS must learn to respect Parliament. Even when he was in this house, members of the executive never used to speak to you the way you are speaking to us. We defer to you because you are a former league, but you cannot behave the way that you are behaving. Honorable Chair, just a minute. Honorable Chair,
yes.
If the CS is tired of answering questions by the representatives of the people, let him tell us. Let him tell us. He can walk out and come back on a day that he feels his temperament is something that is befitting of a cabinet secretary of the Republic of Kenya. This is Parliament. We are not here to be nice to each other. You are saying you are giving answers to the public. Those public don't ask you those questions anymore. They ask us. We are the ones elected by the public. So, Honorable Chair, I think the CS must apologize for throwing a tantrum here. Yet we are here on serious business to be able to find answers to the questions of the public
Senator,
that we present.
To be fair to the CS, because he came here to give his answers, and everybody... Chair,
it's not listening. A favor. Let him not behave like it's a favor for CS to appear before cabinet, before Parliament.
If we avoid unnecessary interjections and give each other time, I believe we are going to complete this issue with the clarity.
Yeah, I had not even finished my time. I didn't even do 2 minutes.
I had given him an opportunity to answer that issue on these letters that you have provided.
Chair, with a lot of respect, please allow me. I would like you allow me.
You're not even giving me an opportunity to say anything.
I am.
And as I said the other day, let's not just interject on every syllable of every word that somebody says. Let's listen to the CS, give him time. We listen to you with your questions. So proceed with your questions.
Absolutely.
And allow him time.
Chair, that's what I'm asking. Allow me. I've tabled the documents.
I've given
Let him
you the
listen to
opportunity.
me. I ask him my 3-4 questions. Then he can answer my questions.
Ask.
Thank you, sir.
You have the floor now.
When you did CS, and again, I want to ask your friend who is DG, there was a section when Honorable Sifuna was expressing the matrix under which when you are doing the evaluation. Do you remember the section where we are talking about whether this company has been involved in corruption, whether it has taken to court? You've seen that? Did you find out what the historical record of ADANI is? That will be a question to you. And then, Chair, my last question that I will ask will be to the CS. So please, CS, I wanted, or you can also answer if you're comfortable. So the last question I want to ask out of the list of my questions, if you look at the section where you are actually again interrogating the issue of due diligence, I have information that if you look at who the ownership of ADANI is, you actually cannot know who the owners are. All right? There's information that the Sultanate of Abu Dhabi has got shareholdings to ADANI, and there is also the issue that the Indian Prime Minister Honorable Modi actually controls 58% of the ADANI empire. Do you have any such information or not? And then conclusively, I wanted to ask my last question, Chair. I hope somebody is those questions. There is an amount of money that the government of Kenya, when you were sitting and discussing under the IPP agreement, that $48 million will be given to the government. Explain to us how you arrived at that figure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Buenos Dias.
Thank you, Chair. First, Chair, let me be very clear that I am not in any way treating the Senate with a condescending attitude. I am very respectful to the Senate. I know that you have a constitutional mandate to hold the government to account, including my office. And the only concern that I have is, Chair, when Honorable Senator Sifuna started, I asked whether I should just wait, he finishes his questions, and I respond. And I was told no, I could continuously respond as matters come by. Now, when it comes to Senator Nyonga, it changed, and I didn't know at what point it actually changed. And so I thought I should address the issue that was raised to me. Now, Chair, in terms of due diligence, I want to again repeat, there are 2 levels of due diligence. The first one is high level, where you just look at a few indicators, and that is the indicators that were shown. We are at the phase of a detailed due diligence process. If we could just allow the process to be concluded, then some of the questions that we have would perfectly be answered. And again, Chair, I want to just address on the issue of Senator Nyonga. I don't think those letters you read to us were copied to the Directorate. If they were addressed to any other person, it is the responsibility of the contracting authority to forward
Point of order, Chair.
Formally.
Point of order, Chair. If you look at those letters, they are received at the office of KAA.
Just for clarity,
yes,
because that's
but you see, if
that's
it is
why
received,
the letters are received by KAA. Don't lie to the public.
Let me guide, and that's why I was asking for these letters.
Yes,
there are 3 letters. and it's only received at Kenya Airports Authority, and they are not here. That is one for Nexus Logic. The other one is also stamped by the Kenya Airports Authority, and they are not here. The other one by GMR is not received by any entity. So I would suggest for these ones, because we can always invite the KAA again and again to appear before us. You know, they were here, and I wish you had produced this one.
Point of order, Chair.
Can I get a clarification from you?
Yes.
You know, when the CS was responding, you remember the document that I referred to him, a letter forwarding the PIP. It actually originated from the PS of transport. And his answer, you can play back the answer, was that KAA is domiciled at the ministry. So that if a letter has been sent to KAA, it is with the ministry. That's what he said.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to guide.
He cannot run away when it is inconvenient and say we have not seen it.
And Chair, because I hear you saying that what is not there in those letters.
No. I just want you to understand.
Yes.
Because I don't want us to just discuss something that is away from their purview. What I'm trying to say is...
Yeah, this is evidence.
Listen, we have admitted this to the committee.
Thank you.
We have them.
So but don't say that it's inadmissible.
But I'm
That's
saying,
evidence.
No, we have admitted them. But what I'm trying to say, and that is what the CA is saying, I'm just trying to guide you so that the relevant questions goes to the right people. Because
Chair,
the letter has been received.
On my knees, I ask you,
yes.
Who do you want me to question?
Listen, I'm guiding you. It is received by KAA. KAA is domiciled at the Transportation Department. We have the Treasury here, and we have the PPP. It's good to be fair to the CAs, so that they answer the right questions. Your question, nothing stops this committee from inviting the KAA again and the PS Transport to come and answer on this. So we admit this. And then we admit this.
Excuse me, Chair. The reason why we called my brother John Bandi to come here is because the Minister of Transport had already lied under oath. He said there were no letters. So we have the letters. We are tabling them, Chair. Please, Chair. Serve Kenyans well, they'll respect you for many years. The reason why those letters are there is because we must interrogate how did ADANI come to Kenya and how did they start what they're doing.
And I agree with you.
And I've not asked you about ADANI with Ketrako, ADANI with Chief, I've not gone there.
And I agree with you.
How did one company take 7 state corporations and is running roughshod over everybody, and every government officer who's coming here is defending them and not giving us answers at how it happened?
Chair, to help,
that is why this committee is here today.
To help Senator Onyonka, I think what has been demonstrated by those letters is that not every PIP proposal or communication on redevelopment of JKIA left Kenya Airports Authority.
Yeah, true.
So the ministry can confirm, at least the PPP secretariat is here and the Ministry of Treasury is here. Let them confirm that the only communication that has come from the procuring entity called KAA is with regards to ADANI. So that we draw our own conclusions during report writing that there is somebody at KAA who determines what to forward for evaluation by PPP and which ones do not go to
You've
evaluation.
got my point.
That's all they need to confirm.
Yes.
Let them confirm.
Chair, maybe my presentation was too long, but let me again repeat. The only PIP proposal received procedurally at the directorate was the one of ADANI of 1st March. In fact, I even mentioned there was an earlier one of 2023. It was not procedurally brought to our attention. We have only come to know about other expressions of interest through a letter. There is no any other proposal. And if there is, and by the way, the law is clear, you go to the contracting authority with PIP. But I want to ask Chris, there is no information, as far as I'm concerned, Chairman, that we are holding. And that is why we have documented all the other expressions of interest from 2023 to date. And we are not gatekeeping for anyone. I have no reason to gatekeep. So I would want to ask Chris, please, and again, inform this committee whether you are aware of shareholding of ADANI, whether Prime Minister Modi has 58% of shares, or 68, or 100, and this one from UAE. With your permission, Chair, could I ask Director General?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, members. Let me start with the question about the earlier question. Yes, the PPP Directorate had one representative who went to India for the due diligence exercise, which is not yet concluded.
Chair, could I stop him right there?
Allow him to finish.
Because of point of information.
Be patient, Senator.
Oh,
allow him to finish.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's on this ADANI proposition. Secondly, matters of corruption and matters of the history of ADANI. ADANI did make a formal submission, which was notarized by the attorneys. They gave a confirmation about corrupt practices, and also, as a treasury, we did look at the World Bank debarred list, and we confirmed at the evaluation stage they were not on that list. Honorable Chair, we also confirmed this morning that they were still not on that list. That's ADANI Airport Holdings. So we do confirm that. Chair, there's also a matter that has come in about the documents received by on the airport concession. Chair, I'd like to confirm a few things. We did see, I've seen the document that the honorable member has indicated, the one from they're called GT, I think GTR. GMR, yeah. GMR. Yeah, so I confirm this. We were not in copy of that document. That document was never sent to us as the Treasury. We've also seen the only document that came to us is a PIP proposal that was sent to us on 1st of March 2024 and the one of April 2023. The one of April 2023, we were only in copy. I submit.
So your question is answered, Senator Sifuna, on the issue KAA chooses what to forward and not to forward. That is something that as a committee we have to discuss in our next meeting, but you can ask your question, sir.
Chair,
thank you, Chair.
There's just one item, just one small item.
Okay.
The matter on the letter that we saw from the GMR proposal, we actually saw it on social media. We did not see it based on a formal submission. I submit.
Chair, for just a second, I would want him to produce to this committee the delivery books and all the delivery books which they received during that period, so that we can run through and make sure that that letter was actually delivered. And the next action, which didn't take place, Chair, is that once they got those letters and they had picked on ADANI, they decided to ignore everybody else who had an interest and picked one horse, and that's what they're running with. Thank you, Chair. And I would like him to explain what they actually did in India. You remember I asked the question? There's something I know, Chair, a little bit. I'll say it later.
Chair, there was also no response on the question of the shareholding of the company. So let's not move to Senator Cheraregei before that is answered, because you will remember when we were taking you through the documents, I asked the question whether the nexus between ADANI and the Abu Dhabi consortium has now been established, and you have a response on record. I'm just reminding you as you deal with the question of shareholding.
Chair, can I just repeat again? Because it should be very clear. What is the role of National Treasury in all this? Is Directorate, the PPP Directorate. Have we received any other PIP proposal on JKIA apart from ADANI? The answer is no. To repeat on record, no. If there is any document you have there to the Directorate, I want to be very clear. As to whether anybody from Treasury alongside representation from KAA and the agents, and that is the assignment they were given, and that process is still ongoing.
The issue of shareholding.
Chris Krieger can respond. Actually, I asked you specifically to talk about any information you have about the shareholding of ADANI.
Shares were owned by ADANI Enterprise Limited. They were Mr. Pravan Adani, who owned one Pritesh Shah, 1 share, Kruthath Thaka, 1 share, Sai, 1 share, and Ashish Shah, 1 share, which holds a total of 350,250,250,000. This is what was submitted to us, Chair, during the evaluation stage. This was a notarized document provided by Kenya Airports Authority, by ADANI. I mean, through Kenya Airports Authority. I submit.
All right.
Chair, there is an independent way. Surely, you cannot rely on the entity declaration. There exists mechanism of independent ascertainment. Has that been done? And then DG is aware that they had proposed that in the first 2 years after the effective date, that they should be allowed to change shareholding. It is there in the proposal. Honestly, what are we doing?
And Chair, I will not tire from repeating. That's why I'm saying we have 2 levels of due diligence. The detailed due diligence, where you will get all those facts, and it is good it is now being conducted now and not then, because then you would be very clear on the shareholding of this entity. Why can't we just allow the process to conclude? The process is ongoing. Section 27, Honorable Sifuna, being a lawyer, I know you are very strict to legal provisions. I have mentioned 2 sections, Section 41 and 27. 41 is due diligence at that high level. There is Section 27. The process is ongoing.
Honorable Mbadi, you and I agreed a long time that when it comes to matters of finance, I will not question your judgment. I wish you remember that you also gave me an undertaking that when it comes to law, you will defer to my knowledge on the law. Honorable Mbadi, I know these days you don't attend social functions, but surely if your son tells you they want to marry somebody, the first thing you do is to find out which family that person comes from. Who's the mother of this child? Who's the father of this child? Will be auditing that ownership after the marriage has already been consummated and you find your son has married from a witch doctor's family. Surely.
And Chair, and I agree. And by the way, that was an agreement some time back when we used to lead a very serious party together. But let me just put it this way, that I respect Sifuna in matters law. He respects me on matters finance. The predicament we find ourselves in is we are dealing with a mongrel of both law and finance. In that case, we just need to respect each other and guide each other systematically. Let me put it this way. Now, if you want now to go to the details and audit and find the actual ownership verified, then you move to the next level, where we are. Section.
Before I give a friend of the committee, I have a member of the committee who want to ask a question. So things are changing very fast. Yeah, so Vice Chair.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, I served with Honorable Mbadi in the National Assembly for 10 years, and I know him as a man who will not allow the law to be circumvented by any way or any other process that is of public interest. Chair, I would ask the CS this. Now that, you know, from what has been tabled, at least I have seen one letter, the one by a company called Nexus something, that one was received by KAA. And now that there is evidence that there was no full disclosure by the contracting authority, that is KAA, are you then, as Treasury and the PPP Directorate, ready to open up this process for competitive bidding? Now that it's not only ADANI that has shown interest in this whole thing, considering the issues that have already been raised about ADANI, that is one. Chair, I also needed to know, where are we in this process, or what stage at the moment? And Chair, also knowing CS Mbadi very well, that he's a man who will only do what will be of value to Kenyans, that there'll be value for money. I'm sure you are, undertaking, a process to know that there are other interested parties who will do the JKIA airport on less money than what is being offered by ADANI. One of the examples I will give you is that Qatar Airways at the moment is building a more sophisticated international airport at Rwanda with a 5-star hotel for less than half of the money that ADANI is asking for. Would we not consider such other offers or such other groups that may give us value for our money? Thank you.
Full disclosure. You see, on what method of procurement to use, Treasury's role is just to guide. It's supposed to be the contracting authority, because again, if we give too much directives to the contracting authority, I would again be here for interfering with the process. So we guide the contracting authority, in this case, KAA. And policy direction is from the State Department for Transport. So I want again be clear there that the policy direction will be given or is given by Transport. In terms of where we are with this process, we are at due diligence stage still. Read it when I documented the steps that have been taken. So we are at the due diligence where all the issues that are of concern to the people, including public participation, if it were not for the court process, would still be ongoing as we speak. So there you can easily pick out issues of concern. Now, as to whether there is another provider, you see, this process has not concluded. I want to come back to that again. In fact, it will only conclude when the matter goes to the cabinet, where I sit, and the Attorney General also must give authority. So this process is still going on. And when it reaches a point where we now have to make a decision presented with facts on value for money, I am sure we'll engage our minds properly to it. But I also know, because I've also heard, and I had to inquire, that there could be another interest even after ADANI. I have heard, I have no evidence, no documents, that there could be another interest. But then the assurance I'm given is that there is nothing that stops KAA even from initiating another process or PIP. Even if it is a Qatar Airways, they can still initiate it now. And the only provision in law is that if that is concluded and it is better than the ADANI one, then they would compensate ADANI. That is what is provided in law, to the extent that that compensation is needed to be done. So I think, if you ask me, that this process is still at some stage where I think many of us are rushing to a conclusion that is concluded. Whether it is concluded in some people's minds, I don't know. because I can't open people's minds and hearts. But what I know is in terms of process and procedure, it is not. It has not come to the cabinet. The Attorney General has not approved it. So why are we concluding that it is concluded? For me, it is not concluded. Till it will be concluded.
Sure. All right, and just to ride on what Vice Chair had asked, when you are told to provide justification why the project is not suitable for open competitive procurement, in your response, you indicated time. And that is on the document that is on E, PPP Committee Technical Working Paper. They said the reason why is immediate need to develop the airport. It looks like an emergency. But now that you have heard there are other people who are interested, of which we are going to call KAA to come to this committee and say why they never forwarded this PIP. They only chose to forward the Adani one.
You see, Chair, that comment is actually from KAA, the contracting authority. It's not from Treasury. And it is a contracting authority which has made that observation of time. This committee to guide, the PPP committee. But I also want to say this, Chair. Truth be told, our airport needs to be developed. We have complaints about the leaking roofs. We have complained about power. As to whether this PIP was the right thing to do, it's for the contracting authority to address. But what I know is PIP is provided in law. And as far as where it has reached, I have no reason as CS National Treasury of the Republic of Kenya to fault any process. The process is still ongoing. So far, I have no reasons to doubt the work that has been done by both the directorate, the committee, and even the contracting authority. So whether this should be stopped is not a decision I would sit here as CS, and that is why we have independent PPP committee to deal with that, the directorate to guide, the contracting authority. If I now come here as CS Finance and say they should stop, on what grounds?
But you sit at the cabinet and you're going to discuss it there. Would you give such an opinion?
Of course, if it comes to the cabinet, I will deal with it there. And you see, whatever we'll discuss in the cabinet will remain in the cabinet.
Senator Chute.
Yeah, maybe before you give Senator Chute.
I don't know what
this committee made a recommendation.
I don't know what he means because I have seen dispatches from cabinet when you have meetings. Why are you saying this one will remain there? Because after cabinet meetings, I usually see something called a dispatch from cabinet on the things that you have discussed. Honorable Mbadi, we live in a country of transparency. If it is a matter affecting all of us, you cannot say as CS that it will remain there. That airport does not belong to cabinet. It belongs to all the 55 million of us. And as the house that oversights executive, I think you should withdraw that statement, Honorable CS.
The recommendations
Chairman, you know, Honorable Sifuna and I, up to recently, I've not had the luxury of being in the cabinet. And I've just been in the cabinet for a few weeks, but this is the information.
So you need some induction.
This is the information I would supply. That communication from the cabinet will come officially. Whatever is discussed in the cabinet is not for public consumption, but what the outcome, the decision is of the cabinet will be communicated. Whoever disagrees and agrees, we will never know. And I'm not at liberty to give my opinion here, because then it will be said that Mbadi was overruled. So let me go to the cabinet and engage my mind at the cabinet. Then when the communication comes, you should know it is a collective responsibility, which now I cannot run away from, even if I had a different opinion.
Okay, Bonas, Vice Chair, quick one, 1 minute.
Yeah,
just 1 minute.
Chair, I just needed to put the record straight, that the CS should also know that we in this committee or in the Senate are not opposed to the improvements in maintenance and even enlargement of development at the airport. We are not opposed to that. Neither are we opposed to the BOT, the build, operate and transfer method. We only want Kenyans to get value for money. We want the best to be given in order to do the job at the airport.
Yeah. That's setting the record straight.
Chair, I wanted to ask a supplementary question on what the CS has commented. CS, if you ask to distribute your fees, there are these 4 methods of procurement, and you have been approached for advisory because the PIP proposal was brought to Treasury. And then also there are 3 other methods which are acceptable in law that can be followed. Is it possible for you as CS Treasury to guide that because of the nature of this project, let us avoid the PIP and go to competitive bidding, also noting that this project has brought a lot of public outcry. So at your level now where we are, is it possible to advise or to guide that let us stop the PIP because it was brought on by ADANI, and then we open it to competitive bidding, so that also you can get an opportunity also to make sure that ADANI also competes with other stakeholders who might be interested in the project.
Yes.
Chair, I only want to request that I'm not pushed to step outside the law. The public-private partnerships procurement methods are outlined in law. A contracting authority may procure a public-private partnership project under this Act through A, direct procurement, B, privately initiated proposals, or C, competitive bidding, and D, restricted bidding. So either one of these can be picked and executed, so long as it is executed within the law, there would be no problem. So if it is pointed out to me clearly that there is a violation of the law, I would guide otherwise. As to whether there were other PIPs, I'm yet to see. What I have seen here are letters, written, expression of interest. You know, even me, I can write to KAA and express my interest that I want to develop the airport. It doesn't have to proceed to PIP because there are conditions, there are things you have to fulfill. So if it is proved that there are some proposals that went to KAA, proposals, not expression of interest, and KAA did not act, then KAA needs to respond to Kenyans and tell us what happened. As far as I'm concerned, and I want to repeat, Treasury is not in receipt of any other PIP apart from the one by ADANI.
My question, Chair, is very simple. Whether as custodian of our Treasury, is it possible to guide the government where you sit, the presidency? Is it possible to guide that this method is not the best, let us go to competitive bidding? Is it possible to guide at that level where we are today?
And again, Banasias, you said in your response, you actually quoted Section 40, subsection 2 of the PPP Act, saying that the project should be delivered at a fair market price. How would you know a fair market price if it is not competitive?
That is provided under PIP. You know, we are mixing 2 procurement methods, Chair. You cannot have PIP and have competitive bidding. It's not practical.
No,
so under PIP, to determine that, you do due diligence, technical evaluation, and that is the process.
The line we are talking about, Banasias, is the justification why the project is not suitable for competitive procurement. That is where we are.
You know, the assumption here is that competitive bidding is superior to PIP, and I'm not seeing that in law. Can someone point out to me in this act where it says,
it's the law that says, the one you're holding,
this law,
that you have to give justification,
yes,
why it is not suitable for open
Yes.
Competitive procurement, not direct. So the one that is superior actually from that line is open competitive procurement, because you only need to give justification why you are not using that. So it must be the one that is superior.
And that is required for KAA to state, and they have stated. You can agree with it, you can.
We want you to guide them. That is a question.
You see,
whether you want to guide them.
Chair, let us allow the technical evaluation to proceed. Once it is done, once it is done, this process will even come to the cabinet. It will go to the Attorney General. All these legal provisions. In fact, the Attorney General has no capacity to even advise Cabinet Secretary.
I would like to inform the Cabinet Secretary that competitive procurement under the law is superior to a PIP. That is why under section 40, clause 3, paragraph J, you are required to give a justification why you can't use competitive bidding, because that is the default procurement standard. You are supposed to justify why you can't use competitive bidding. So I would like to inform you that competitive bidding is superior and the default position in procurement. So when you want to deviate from that, you must justify. Of all the procurement methods you have given, the law does not require you to say why you can't use direct procurement, why you can't use whatever request for proposal. It requires you to state why you can't use competitive bidding, because even in Article 227 of the Constitution, clause 1, you have to procure in a competitive manner. So competitive procurement is the most ideal, it is the superior. These others are deviations and they are ring-fenced. You must justify why you are deviating from the standard or the default position. That's why the law requires that justification. So it's a superior method of procurement. That's the information I need to share, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, before you convince the Attorney General to sign the concession, you have to prove that you have complied with the law. And so that will be complied with. We are at a stage where we are still processing this transaction. It has not reached the level where now you can hold a contracting authority or anybody for failure to perform what is supposed to be performed still.
Okay, let's have you see Senator Fernandi has been raising his hand. Let me just give him 3 minutes. Yes. He has for the last I think 20-30 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. Waziri, relax. I'll ask Dangatan-like questions. That is very simple. I'll not complicate your life. So relax and sit. Thank you, Chair. Through the Chair, Waziri.
Are you using a microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I audible enough? Thank you, Chair. Waziri and DG, are you aware that ADANI company, and I would request that you write down so that you'll respond once and for all. Are you aware that ADANI group of companies have any affiliates in the country? Number one. Number two, there is a report by a consultancy company of America called Heidenberg Consultancy Company Limited. In the last 2 years, they uncovered tax manipulation and other illegal things that made ADANI group of companies lose $100 billion. Are you aware of such? And the recent one of Swiss authorities where allegations were facing ADANI company that the account in Switzerland of 310 million had been frozen. Number three, in your Annex B, you are presented on the issue of work visa. That area, Waziri, is grey. What will be the fate of Kenya Airports Authority employees who were just demonstrating the other day over their worry and the fate of their work related? And it is not clear who should ADANI come with. because the issue of expatriates, the issue of qualification and what have you. Number 4, there is a tunnel clause of 18% at the end of 30 years concession, a period of 30 years that there is a tunnel clause of 18%. Does it mean after 30 years, Adani will continue owning JKIA, our airport, with a stake of 18% forever until Jesus comes back? Number 5, I have letters here, and I don't know whether DG, you are aware, there are many letters from then PS Irungu Nyakera on developing Konsa Airport. Are there any PIPs on that matter? The 6th, Chair, I have seen most of the correspondents have the former Minister of Roads, Kipchumba Murkomen, there is the former MDK Alex Kitari, and former CS of National Treasury, CS Ndungu. Is it possible to invite them to the committee to share more light, because it looks Waziri Mbadi is shooting in the dark? Is it possible to have them, including what was happening in Dubai, under the guise of other things? So is it possible so that we can get the correct version? Let us have, and I want to advise CS Mbadi, we know you just came the other day. Don't carry anybody's cross. If this thing is grey, call it as it is.
Leave it.
Run away from where you come from, and your SG is here. It is good to stand with the truth and the transparency. So if the other people messed in office, don't carry any other. Then the 6th question, I have seen the letter in Annex F, that was addressed to PS Dagar. And they are saying the JKA land will be provided by KA. I thought all land below is managed on behalf of National County through National Land Commission. You need to clarify that. On the issue of fixed exclusive concession fee, is about 47 million. And in fact, per annum, and they are saying they will adjust 10% inflation, based on inflation. Don't you think this is expensive for the country? And finally, Chair, on the feasibility report that was done by KA to Adani, in your own opinion as an auditor, was this an insider trading, or let me, for lack of a better word, that was being used to try and perpetuate, in conclusion, Chair, to try and perpetuate giving state capture, yes, giving upper hand to Adani group of companies that is running everybody, is running Shiv, is running now Ketraco, is running our airports. Who knows, they may come and run our wives and our children if we are not careful with this Adani group of companies. So, Chair, I request CS Mbadi, tell the country the truth. Every Kenyan, from even Suba to Nandi, would really want to know your position on this matter. And I want to say, with exception, Chair, when you took an oath of office to protect the rule of law and the Constitution, you cannot be part of an illegality. It is also your responsibility to advise the government on the rule of law and the truth, Chair. So, Chair, on this issue of Adani, I would have expected a lot from, and that is why your former colleagues in the other side of the aisle do not believe who you are, because we wanted you to tell us the truth as it should be. So please run away from this one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, whether Adani has affiliations locally, I have no idea. I think I will later allow my DG, who has interacted with this a lot, to tell us if he's aware of any affiliation, local affiliations, though there is nothing really wrong with having local affiliates, if you ask me, if it is procedurally done and made public. American consultant making allegations, I have no
processing there. With who and why? On this 100 billion, Bwana CS, it is on record in the Indian stock market, the SEBI, which is stock exchange market of India, has investigated this gentleman and found out of tax manipulation and others, it is on record is 100 billion US dollars. So it's not allegations.
So Chair, let me again repeat what I said. We have a process that is ongoing to date. A very extensive technical evaluation. If all the facts that Senator Cheraregei is bringing forth is accurate, that will be found out. It will be discovered. I want to be on record. From the information I have, my DG has not traveled to India on this matter. There is an officer from the directorate, but it's not him. Now, let's talk about the workers.
If DG is on oath, why is the CS answering on behalf of the DG? Can the DG just confirm?
But Chair,
he said
he's also on oath, so
he said he's going to give him an opportunity. So allow the CS to first of all finish.
Chair, actually, I wanted to raise that from the beginning.
But you are with us in Parliament. How do you know he had not travelled?
That the letter, you see, I've come to answer questions on behalf of the National Treasury.
I know.
And Chair, I would want to just request that that is respected. I am
no,
not,
we don't,
I
don't
am
have a problem.
not,
you know,
Senator,
CS Mbadi.
Can I just
Senator Cheraregei,
you know, the CS time to
allow the CS.
No, the Deputy Speaker should hold resources. You are in charge, Chairman.
Allow the CS to express himself.
But I'm saying on issue, if we want to find out if you came from Kiambu today, should we ask your Vice Chair? You are the one who can answer. Yes.
But you see, Chair,
there is a reason, Chair, and we are not asking that question in vain, whether the DG traveled to India or not.
And we want the passports.
We will table a heart-shaking evidence and passports and boarding passes.
The DG will answer after the CS is done.
But Chair, can I also mention, and I wanted to say it earlier, but you ruled, and I respected, that the letter to Treasury was inviting the CS. The others was to accompany me. If you look at that letter, in fact, even putting the digit under oath, the letter I have, and I want to repeat, dated 18th, was addressed to the CS, and in that letter I was asked to come with my PS, to come with the DG, and to come with other members of the committee. So I am the witness.
Yeah, but nothing stops this committee from
that is
asking
why
anyone,
the DG has
not
been
just the DG.
He will, and I say it, he is here, he will tell you. I have just responded that the officer who came from the Treasury to India for this due diligence was not the DG. If the DG went to India...
Can you table the evidence of that, officer? Thank you, Chair. As a procedure of Parliament, can you table the details on the date and time and the hotels he slept with? Other stories we don't want, just the official ones. We know there are many unofficial ones.
No, you know, Cheraregei, that's information.
No, Waziri, you answer me through the chair.
Senator,
you are not answering
through the chair. Chair.
Yes,
a public officer traveling using public resources can never be secret. If you want get information on who?
Through you, Chair. Through you, Chair.
You know, Cheraregei asked about 8 questions, and we have not even had.
Through you, Chair.
Can we have the 7 questions
100%, but the CS is wasting time. The reason is very simple. Even the people who went to India and the flights they took are known. So don't go that route. You talk about, do you want this thing to continue or not? That's where we are.
With due respect,
yes,
I am supplying information. Let me supply it. If you have your information, then don't ask me. If you don't want me to say what I know.
Point of order, Chair.
Let's have the CS. I won't entertain.
I am giving you the information I have.
I won't entertain.
The information I have is that there is a team.
Do you have the DG's passport for us to see whether he traveled or not?
Senator Onyonka.
Chair, can you be in control of this meeting?
Senator Onyonka.
Everybody's talking.
Are you directing
I will switch off your microphone. I will switch off your microphone. Allow the CS to answer so that Senator Chute can also ask questions. Let's not waste time with interjections that are not necessary. Give him 2 minutes. Senator Chute, I'll give you a minute after he answers the question. Otherwise, why were we asking the questions if we cannot allow the CS to answer them? So kindly give him time to answer the questions. When I see yes, go direct to the questions.
Matter, I want to say the officer, if you want the information of the officer who was sent to India from the National Treasury or the Directorate, we can provide it.
Next question.
On the staff, work visa, the staff, it is clear, it was clearly spelled by the committee that all the staff of JKIA will transit. So that is there in the report. So I don't see why that should be a problem. On the issue of 18% up to 30 years, I'll ask Karua to respond to. PIPs for Konza Airport, again, Karua, you can tell us if there is anything to that effect. Correspondence by various CSS, and I've been told not to carry anybody's cross. I am not carrying anybody's cross, on Senator Cheraregei, through the chair. I have no reason to. And by the way, what I'm giving you are facts. I am the CS National Treasury. When a matter like this comes up, what I do is to get the information. I have looked for this information. I have supplied the information which we have. Any other information that is flying out there, I don't have it. JKIA land will be provided by KAA, and you said that is not procedural. This is what the report captures, the report of the committee. Land acquisition or allocation should be aligned with the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport master plan and subject to availability of land and requisite approvals, in bracket KAA board, National Land Commission, other relevant government agencies, which would include the person who is in custody of the title deeds. And that is where my office is. Noting that KAA has existing leases on land with third parties. So I think I've addressed that one. Feasibility report. The information I have, the feasibility study was done by ADANI. And
transited to ADANI. Because, is that what he said? Yes. Because, Chair, I remember when I was asking questions about the percentage of employees that ADANI wants to take up, the CS told this committee that he didn't know. I don't know if that figure has now been supplied now and he's saying 100%. CS mbadi, you have given two answers to me and I'm confused. What is the position?
Can I repeat?
Yes.
And I said it. In fact, if you listen to my written submission, what I told you that I'm not aware of is whether in the proposal of ADANI, it specified that they will only take a percentage. And I said I need to check whether they stated that. But the report of the committee, and I beg that you allow Honorable Sifuna to focus on me so that he can
I am very focused.
The report of the committee is very clear.
Point of information.
100%. In fact, the committee has recommended that before this matter progresses further, that ADANI must ensure and commit and confirm. And I want to repeat it. I want to repeat the report. The PPP committee also directed that the following should be addressed in the concession agreement. It is page 12 of my submission. D, that the contracting authority, Kenya Airports Authority, should ensure that current employees of JKIA are onboarded by the concessionaire on priority basis and on better terms. Further, that the concessionaire gives preference to recruitment of Kenyan nationals in all positions. So I'm not giving two answers. The answer that I gave you about not knowing the percentage is when you asked me that ADANI had proposed a percentage.
Yeah,
I said
CS,
I didn't have
you're confirming as a CS for National Treasury, you have not read the proposal from ADANI. You don't know what is in there.
Let me tell you, Chair, I really even don't need to read the proposal of ADANI. Because
how can you say that, Honorable?
Actually, the CS Treasury has very limited role. The only thing I am doing is to look at the procedure, how it is followed. And my directorate has looked into this matter, has found gray areas, including that issue of staff. And the committee, the PPP committee, has made a recommendation which should be binding. Then what is the problem?
At the very least,
what is the problem?
Yes, my expectation.
If you want to go that direction, then there must be a public participation.
Forgive me, Honorable Mbadi, for holding you in very high regard. But you know why? There is no way somebody comes knocking at their door. You don't even find out what this person wants, what they are saying, who they are, where they've come from. At the very minimum, you must know what is contained in the proposal so that you are able to answer these questions. It is clear in that proposal from ADANI that it is not everyone they intend to absorb. So you are saying what we should do. We are saying what we should do. We should push them so that they take everybody up. But at the very minimum, as a person responsible for your docket, you should know what they are asking for.
Yeah, and you said, Banasias, from that section D you have just read, that the JKIA employees will be onboarded on priority basis. You know that word, on priority basis? You know, they might not even have priority, but I don't know what it means.
Chair, let me remind this committee of the position that was taken by the CS for transport.
Correct.
You know, part of the problem we have been told about this Kenya Kwanza government is that there is no clarity in communication.
Broad-based government.
Kenya Kwanza government. Honorable Chair.
Chair, it's bread-based.
Stop distracting me. The CS for transport told us that as far as the employees for the airport are, and because you are not here, let me brief you. Mambo ni matatu. You will either take a contract with ADANI or choose to remain with KA, but you cannot work at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. They can send you to Malindi, or you quit and you take a package of what is it called, a golden parachute package. So Honorable CS Mbadi, this is why we were insisting that even though we know the oath of secrecy in the conversations at cabinet, what we want is coherence in communication of government policy and the position. So which one are we supposed to take, the CS Treasury or the CS Transport?
And also the CS Transport told us that if we cancel this deal, we are not going to lose any money. But you mentioned we are going to lose money.
Yes.
Yeah, where we are, there is no deal. What deal are we talking about? As far as I'm concerned, there is no deal. This is a process. And so there is nothing you are going to lose. You will just return the money.
Which money?
Let me just put it.
With the public uproar, why don't you recommend to be cancelled?
Leave it.
Leave it. Walk away from it.
Let me just put this.
If it works or works like a duck, it's a duck.
Like a duck.
It's a smelly skunk.
Why are you rooting for Qatar Airways?
No, I'm not saying I'm Qatar. No,
Yes.
Chair, can you withdraw?
Yeah, good
I am
question.
not that he's
Get
out
one even from Uganda. Get one from
You
Uganda.
can get one from Ethiopia.
Yes.
Let me put it this way. Chair,
This is the corruption we don't want.
Chair, can I just?
We don't know even where
Can I just
Qatar is.
respond to this issue?
Let's have the CS. Let's have the CS.
And the PS withdraw
Well, I
that
think
part
this is
of
very
Qatar.
important.